All right, hello guys. Welcome to this number 9 of Figuary. Um, and of course, if you don't know by now, Figuary is of course a live drawing challenge, a monthly live drawing challenge in February, organized by Croquis Cafe. So go and check out their YouTube channel. They're doing a really good job. Also, Love Lifedrawing is making daily small tutorials, which is always super interesting. So yeah, I encourage you to go and gonna take this layer and scale it down. So I'm working on my iPad Pro, and I'm using Procreate, and yeah, all right, ready to go. So it's starting with some 1 minute. I think my brush size is a little bit too big here. It's a really cool model, really muscular. Yeah, I think sometimes when the brush size is this big, it's really hard to get any of them. It just looks a little bit weird. So even if I make a mistake like this, I just kind of keep going and see, maybe every once in a while you get something out of it that you didn't expect, that it's actually working out a lot better than you thought. So you should allow yourself those mistakes, but now I'm definitely gonna make it a little bit smaller. Put that guy there, and new layer. Starting with the hips here, bringing the leg down, put in that. So once I kind of got the leg here, I kind of know that the hips is in the middle, and I got a feeling for how tall I want to make the model. So it's basically why I a lot of times choose to start with the hip. I see a lot of people starting with the head, or as I also do sometimes start with the feet. It can be really nice. You kind of get the weight. So, and today in Love Lifedrawing, they were talking about the shading, the light and shade, dividing instead of drawing the whole shaded part, you can just put in the lines as kind of dividing the light and the shade. They are explaining it a lot better. It's something that I do every once in a while, like here, I just put in the shading line. Just mostly now I'm doing it to explain what I mean. But a lot of times it's I find that you have to be really careful with it as well, because it can't just make your drawing more confusing, where you're not really sure which side is the light side and which side is the dark side. It's just more lines, which you just, if you don't control it, it can very easily get out of hand. All right, so now it's 2 minutes. I really like this model. He got an amazing face. So here I actually started with the foot. A lot of times I don't really think about it where I'm starting. It's kind of, I look at those and just kind of try and visualize it, how it's going to look on the paper, and then I just basically start. And it does occur that I start with the head every once in a while. And I have learned techniques of like doing affection and all that shebang. And every once in a while I do kind of, it depends on the pose and how difficult it is. If I can see I'm gonna struggle with it, I might try and construct a bit more and maybe, yeah, like I said, start with the line of action and make sure I get that in. It's also if it's more a dancer or like some really dynamic poses, might be that I find that to be the most important thing in the pose, is to capture the line of action. But if it's just a kind of a boring pose, it's really no point in doing a straight line of action. And at least that's kind of how I feel about that subject. So, alright, and let me scale this guy down, put him up here, new layer, go back to my brush. Oh man, that's also a great pose. He got a super big face, this guy. I almost want to go back and do like a more in-depth study of these poses. Even though I'm not really gonna have the time, I feel a little bit pressured on time these days. Alright. I think for some reason I'm drawing the upper body a lot bigger than the lower body. I find that with most of the poses I've done today, sometimes you just, I don't know, you make the consistent same error every time. But I'm fine with it. I just now I acknowledged it, and then I'm gonna try and correct it in the next few poses. In this one, I don't really think there's much point in going back and scaling up the leg. If it had been a 5 minutes pose, I might have considered it, but I think for me, for this pose, it's probably nicer if I do a little bit of shading pass and kind of focus more on capturing. Could also be nice. I'm just gonna do a quick highlight. Alright, that was it for the 2 minutes. So now it's the last pose, so 5 minutes. Alright, let me just scale this down. Oh, and then a lying pose. I might actually... Oh, I haven't started it yet. I might just move some stuff around to be able to fit it a bit better. Maybe I just move these up. Something like that. Maybe I can also move the last one up. Alright, and the time started. New layer. Oh, I have to make sure I'm on the right brush here. So I always find line poses to be harder. I don't really know why. I think it's just a personal preference, possibly. I mean, theoretically they shouldn't be harder, but it always think it's harder for me to fit the pose onto the page. For whatever reason, I always draw it too big when I draw a line pose, and that might also only be practice. I mean, if you are struggling with something, that's the best reason for like being aware of it and just working a bit more with yourself on where you are struggling, rather than just do the stuff that that you know you are good at. So let me scale this down a little bit. Okay, that should be enough. So, and after I scale stuff down, I always have to be super careful that I kind of mentally scale it as well, that I don't keep on drawing at the same scale. That can be tricky foot here. The knee. It's really nice that you got all these muscles here. It's good for anatomy study. I think it's always nice drawing people that are kind of really fit. I mean, it's the same thing basically that's going on skinny people or fat people, or kind of, we're all basically built the same. It's just on really fit people, it's really obvious how we are constructed. And that's, I don't know, it's always, I mean, the more you know about the subject that you are drawing, the better. So anatomy is a really good thing to study and keep fresh on. Even though, with that said, I also have a lot of friends that just hangs themselves a little bit too much in anatomy. I think that's also not